Don't skip this. Picture this. You've just been rejected, maybe in a relationship, maybe in a job interview, or perhaps by a close friend who's turned their back on you. In that moment, you feel the sting of rejection. They may have dismissed you, turned away, or assumed you would crumble under the weight of their judgment. But instead of folding under pressure, you chose a different path. You chose silence. And now they can't help but think about you. Why? Because when you use silence intentionally, it becomes one of the most powerful tools in the Stoic arsenal. Silence is not weakness, it's a response that conveys, I value myself enough to remain composed, regardless of how you feel about me. In this guide, we're going to delve into the power of silence after rejection, and how it doesn't just drive the other person crazy, but also how it helps you cultivate inner strength, emotional discipline, and personal growth. It is through this deliberate practice of silence that you can turn rejection into a moment of profound empowerment and self-mastery. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Mindful Stoicism and hit the bell icon so you can continue to get insights into powerful Stoic practices, emotional mastery, and personal growth. 1. The potency of silence in Stoic practice. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, we are constantly urged to react to situations. We are taught that in order to be heard, we must speak up, that if we don't defend ourselves, we are showing weakness. In the aftermath of rejection, whether it's a romantic rejection, a professional dismissal, or a friendship falling apart, our initial impulse is to explain ourselves, to argue our case, or to seek closure. We might feel compelled to make them understand our side, to prove our worth, or to seek validation. However, the Stoic philosophy offers a different approach. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies not in reacting impulsively, but in choosing how to respond to external events. Rejection is inevitable. It happens to all of us. But how you respond to it, how you choose to engage with your emotions in that moment, is entirely within your control. Choosing silence after rejection is not an act of passivity. It is an act of profound strength. Why does silence work so powerfully? It is simple. When you remain silent after being rejected, you communicate a powerful message without uttering a single word. You are saying, I am not defined by this moment. I am not defined by your judgment of me. You assert that your peace is not dependent on anyone else's approval. Your self-worth is not in their hands, and you do not need to convince them of your value. Silence is your assertion of control. It is an assertion that your emotional state is independent, and it is a demonstration of self-respect. In a world where so much of our lives are dictated by external forces and the expectations of others, silence is a tool that puts the focus back on you. It reinforces the idea that you are the one who controls your emotional life. You are the one who holds the power to maintain inner peace, regardless of what others do or say. This is a central tenet in Stoicism. 2. The emotional discipline behind silence. In Stoic thought, emotions are not something to be ignored or suppressed. They are natural. The challenge is not to be ruled by them. Rejection can bring up feelings of hurt, sadness, frustration, or confusion. It is human to feel these emotions. However, Stoicism teaches us that we can control how we react to those emotions. When rejected, it is instinctual to want to react. We want to defend ourselves, perhaps argue our case or plead for an explanation. But this reaction gives external circumstances control over us. It places our peace of mind in the hands of the person who rejected us. The Stoic approach, on the other hand, is to practice emotional discipline, to feel the emotions without allowing them to dictate our behavior. The Stoics recognized that our thoughts shape our feelings, and our feelings shape our actions. So, rather than responding to rejection impulsively, Stoicism encourages us to take a step back and examine the situation through the lens of reason and self-control. In this context, silence is not an absence of feeling. It's a choice to maintain control over how we respond. It's about deciding that we will not be swayed by our emotional reactions, but instead will remain composed and deliberate in our actions. When you choose silence, you demonstrate that you are the one who governs your emotional landscape. Silence communicates, "I will not be moved by your rejection. I am steady in my own worth." This is emotional strength in action. 3. Silence as a form of Stoic mastery. The Stoics believed that virtue, defined as living in accordance with reason and maintaining moral character, was the highest good. In the face of rejection, the Stoic response is not to seek revenge or to defend oneself. It is to remain true to one's character. The key is to act with dignity and wisdom, regardless of the external situation. In this sense, silence is a form of Stoic mastery. When someone rejects you, they may expect you to respond in a certain way, perhaps by defending yourself, questioning them, or seeking validation. But when you choose silence, you demonstrate self-sufficiency. You show that you do not need their validation to feel worthy. Your worth is inherent and does not depend on others' opinions. This quiet, dignified response is a direct expression of inner peace. When you remain silent, you're not withdrawing out of fear or resentment. You're choosing to remain composed because you know that true strength is found within, not in external approval. The Stoics believed that peace of mind is the ultimate goal, and silence in the face of rejection is one of the most effective ways to preserve your peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you respond to rejection with silence, you are practicing this very principle. You're choosing to protect your peace by not letting external events, such as rejection, disrupt your emotional equilibrium. The psychological impact of silence. Why does silence have such a profound psychological impact on those who have rejected you? The answer lies in human nature and the psychology of curiosity and uncertainty. Humans are naturally inclined to seek answers and to resolve ambiguity. When you choose silence, you create a gap in understanding. The other person is left wondering why you didn't react as expected. This uncertainty makes them uncomfortable, and it forces them to question their own actions and assumptions. When you choose not to engage, not to plead for understanding or justification, you strip away their ability to control the narrative. They may begin to wonder, why didn't they react? What do they know that I don't? Why are they unaffected by this? The psychological discomfort this causes is often greater than any verbal confrontation. It leaves them in a state of uncertainty, which is one of the most unsettling emotions for a human to experience. This is where the true power of silence lies. It's not just about disengaging. It's about leaving them to confront their own emotions and perceptions. Their sense of control begins to unravel because you are not giving them the satisfaction of knowing how your rejection affects you. The power of silence, therefore, is that it forces the other person to deal with their own discomfort. They are left to ask themselves whether their rejection was justified, whether they misjudged you, or whether they are missing out on something they didn't appreciate at first. This psychological pressure is powerful and often leads them to reevaluate their decision, sometimes making them reconsider the rejection altogether. 5. Silence as an investment in your own growth. In addition to its psychological power over others, silence is also an investment in your own personal growth and emotional maturity. Every time you choose to remain silent after rejection, you are practicing emotional resilience. You are strengthening your ability to endure challenges without allowing them to undermine your peace of mind. Through the practice of silence, you are not just building strength in the moment. You are developing the long-term ability to remain calm and composed in the face of future challenges. This resilience becomes a cornerstone of your inner tranquility. The more you practice silence, the more control you have over your emotions. You develop a sense of detachment, not from people or life itself, but from the emotional upheavals that others might impose on you. Silence, in this sense, is a tool for building emotional self-sufficiency. It teaches you that you are whole on your own, and that you do not need external validation to confirm your worth. This understanding is liberating because it frees you from the dependency on others' opinions. Every moment of silence after rejection is a step toward greater self-awareness and emotional freedom. It's a commitment to self-respect, knowing that your value doesn't diminish because of someone else's inability to see it. Conclusion: the unspoken power of silence. In a world that thrives on noise, on constant explanations and justifications, silence stands as one of the most powerful forms of resistance. By mastering silence, you master yourself. You learn to remain unshaken in the face of rejection, criticism, and dismissal. Silence isn't about withdrawing from life. It's about withdrawing from emotional chaos and choosing to respond from a place of inner strength and self-respect. It's about remaining true to yourself and recognizing that your peace is more valuable than any external approval. Next time you face rejection, don't be afraid of the silence. Embrace it. It's not just a response to someone else's judgment. It's a statement of your own emotional mastery, and it has the power to leave a lasting impression. By choosing silence, you show that you are in control of your emotional world. And when you master that control, you become a force that others can't easily dismiss. So, let your silence be the most powerful tool in your emotional toolkit and watch how it drives them crazy. If you found this insight into stoic silence and emotional mastery as powerful as we do, don't forget to hit that like button right now. It lets us know you're enjoying the content and want more of these life-changing tips. Subscribe to Mindful Stoicism for regular updates on how you can live a life of emotional independence, inner peace, and self-mastery. By subscribing, you'll be the first to get new videos on how Stoic philosophy can help you handle life's challenges with grace and confidence. And remember, turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. If this video has given you something to think about, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear how you plan to implement the power of silence in your own life. Do you think you can embrace the Stoic mindset the next time you face rejection? And don't keep this wisdom to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs it. We all know someone who could benefit from a little more emotional control and Stoic resilience. Let's help each other grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay calm, stay composed, and stay in control.